on, no, wait. Tell me what you want, cause I ain't got time to play. Stay focused, boy, and get your head right. And maybe get this head right. Don't make me think twice. And maybe you can get it all night, yeah. Cause I've been gone for way too long.
Welcome to another episode of Hashtag I'm Just Saying. That boy there. I'm yours truly, MemeMichelle. Oh my God, thank you so much for tuning in. I want y'all to get involved, ask questions, leave your comments, because today is going to be an amazing episode. Can y'all believe we're like 2 episodes from the 1-year anniversary? I can't wait for that episode because I'm gonna have my new people, my original people in the building. So we're gonna have Tracy on board. We got Tony coming in for that one. I don't know if Courtney's gonna do it. So let me just say congratulations to Courtney Clark and her husband Sharon. They got married last Saturday, and that's why I wasn't here. So I don't know if she's going to be on the episode, but we're going to have a good time. Yes, we're going to have a good time. So I need y'all to get involved and share the episode. And look, when y'all share, do a watch party so your friends can watch too. How about that? So let me introduce my all-star panel. These are people who've been here several times, and y'all make sure y'all speak in the mic so they can hear y'all, all right? So we got Dre Caesar. Andre, what's up? This is my big brother. He keeps me in check from the congregation at church. He knows what I'm talking about. And this is my big sister, Delana Guest, and her husband, Pastor, the Pastor Guest. Yes, and we're going to have a good time. But before we get started, let me introduce this drink of the day. If I'd have known Blue wasn't going to be here, something came up, I wouldn't have made a lot of it. But anyway, it'll get taken care of. Have no fear. We're drinking Not Your Mama's Arnold Palmer. So, yes, it would not be right. That's how I know it's going to be a good show, because, see, somebody forget to turn their phone down. But this is Not Your Mama's Arnold Palmer, and it is the Deep Eddy sweet tea. It's got real tea leaves in it. It's distilled 10 times. It's gluten-free, and it has natural honey in it. And it's made in Austin. And I just add a little lemonade to it. I usually use the lemonade from, what's our restaurant? Chick-fil-A. But I didn't have time to go over there today. And my cousin hit me to this recipe. So, hey, Pep, thank you. But, you know, Dre, he does not drink that, and we got the pastor and the first lady. They're just drinking simply lemonade. But so let's talk about this topic of the day. We're going to talk about Facebook news. You know, some people watch CNN, some people watch Channel 13, your local news. But, you know, a lot of the times we get our news from Facebook. Sometimes it's live, and sometimes it's Memorex. So I came across a few topics that we're going to get involved in, okay? Now, our first topic is nooses and whites-only signs found at the GM plant. Now, check this out. Ooh. This, come on now. You know, I got some topics. This took place in Toledo, Ohio. Marcus Boyd, Derek, and 7 others, they're suing GM for racism and harassment. Not only were nooses found, as well as white signs only, they were called monkeys, told to go back to Africa. Derek even told people they thought he was mispronouncing his name because they were calling him Dan. And Dan stood for dumbass nickel, but nickel was not what they meant. Okay? Then one of the white supervisors said, "What's the big deal?" I mean, what's the big deal, he said. It's not a big deal. There never was a black person that was lynched that didn't deserve it. And they told the upper managements, and nobody has done anything. So let's talk. Now, these are 6-figure, Marcus and Derek, they're 6-figure supervisors, black men. Wow. How do you think they should handle this? What would you do? I mean, because you got a family, you got kids, you know, you got a wife, and your job is in jeopardy. If you sue, you're liable to lose your job. So how you handle this? Because I work for me. I know how to handle that thing. Let me come up in Blue Line and see some of that going on.
For the guests, I default, though.
Come on, Pastor.
Well, I just believe that racism today is something that we all have to we are familiar with, and we have to embrace, because there are a lot of people who were just not taught right. And we cannot do anything about how they treat us, but we do everything. We have everything to do with how we treat them.
Okay, that
So
sounds
I would
logical.
say this here that even in this matter, in a corporate setting, we always remember who we are, and in being who we always remember why we do what we do. We do it not because we want to be accepted, but because we are the exception. With being the exception in this day, in this society, we galvanize others.
Excuse me, sir. I'm gonna need you to get closer to the mic. That's one. And two, can you break it down for the basic people? Galvanized.
That means that we gather with others of the same like mind.
Yes, sir.
So
Teach me a new word.
Are able to continue to live the life that our forefathers and foremothers had taught us. We know that there has been much about slavery for the black people, but yet we are here and we're living to show that even racism cannot stop a unit of people or a group of people that have the like mind and the authority to move in a unified manner.
Anybody else want to jump on in? Y'all, I know the people out there see my face.
I'm going to give you this. From a corporate standpoint, diversity and inclusion are the buzzwords of the time. And so it would surprise me if General Motors didn't have a diversity and inclusion initiative within their organization. So I think that the gentleman's first stop is to their human resources department. You
Been
try
there.
to handle it internally.
He did that.
Right. And if human resources isn't moving it forward and addressing the ignorant behavior that's happening on their premises, then we may have to seek out legal counsel. But I think that's their first stop.
First of all, a noose ain't gonna scare me, player. It's not. What you gonna do? You can. If you was gonna hang me, you was gonna hang me.
But that behavior is unacceptable. in society today. Unacceptable.
And this is not, this is a different day and age. People don't got good. Quit letting Donald Duck make y'all think y'all could do this stuff out loud.
And that's what it is. Because
the
a
challenge.
deuce in the workplace in 2019, 2018 is ludicrous. It's unacceptable. As Delana said, I work in the plant. I work in the chemical plant, and diversity is huge. The respect of others is huge.
Yes, it is.
Our human resources has a strong initiative for that. They have a strong platform for that. They don't even allow simple banter, between friends that can cross lines. They don't allow that. You are checked on that.
Absolutely.
That's how sensitive this issue is at this day and age. So to be in 2019 and walking into work and having
blatant
In
as they were.
GM.
at GM, right, and having a noose in the workplace and being called Dan, to me, it stems from leadership.
Yep.
It starts at leadership.
Yep.
So this behavior is something that somebody at a lower level assumes will be acceptable by leadership, and that's what they moved forward with. They felt comfortable in that.
Because the supervisor said whoever was lynched, they deserved it. And you got to think of how old are those particular people who are saying those types of things.
But this is the thing, too. So I believe GM will take a stand. I don't work for GM, but I'm trusting and believing in GM leadership. They will take a stand.
Yeah.
But there's several steps to that, because not only do you have to deal with those that were involved, it has to be proven.
Because CNN reported
But
this.
we also have to put in sensitivity training for your organization.
Exactly.
Because there has to be a cultural shift. Because
yeah,
if
because the
that's
questions
been
are coming.
allowed, then there has to be a cultural shift
Yes.
where this doesn't continue
Absolutely.
to perpetuate. And so I think that if you address this may not be the only occurrence within an organization.
Absolutely.
So they're going to have to deal with it across the board. And they're a pretty large organization.
And I'm going to just say this, because I'm not trying to create havoc, because I know just as many hateful, prejudiced people out there, people of all nationalities that love each other. And love is stronger than hate, one. And two, our country is going through birth pains. It was swept under the rug for such a long time, but now people are showing their true faces, or they're hiding behind the keyboard because they don't have to be seen. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
To speak their point of views and how they feel. And Donald Duck have y'all so strong in your beliefs that you're going to end up getting your feelings hurt. People are losing their jobs behind this types of behavior. Companies are not accepting this. So y'all better be cool and better be careful on how you treat people, because it ain't the business. We got any questions before we go to the next topic? Speaking of Donald
thank
Duck.
you for letting us know that the mic wasn't working well. Hopefully we've got that together for Pastor Guest.
Oh, he was too far away.
Let's hear your comments and your questions.
Yes.
Let's hear that.
Okay, so our next topic, speaking of Donald Duck, Trump feeds the Klinsman's tigers fast food. You just gotta laugh at that, because Michelle Obama was in office for 8 years talking about getting healthy, talking about eat at home more. I mean, if I go to one of my favorite restaurants, let's say Fleming's. Let's just say Fleming's, or, Steak 48. If I go to Steak 48 and they got some Big Macs laid out, first of all, I don't eat that. And if I go to the White House and they feed me that, I got a whole problem. This man, they were champions. They beat Alabama 44-16, invited to the White House, and you're going to feed them some Big Macs, some Wendy's, and some Domino's? I can buy Domino's myself.
I think your president was trying to make a statement in that we had 800,000 furloughed employees during the time. And so he paid $3,000 for the fast food out of his own pocket, he said. And that's what he fed them. I didn't agree with it either, but that's what the president said.
He could have went to Wolfgang Puck and had that catered, or someplace very nice, something that some of these kids may not ever experience.
Their universities feed them better than fast food. So we have collegiate athletes. We know the universities even do better than that.
Come on, Dre, give it to me. What you got to say?
I think it was a statement because I think the viewpoint is Alabama is traditionally a PWI university.
Okay.
Right? And the faceplate of Clemson, because of the hierarchy of the athleticism there, looks black. Right? So because Clemson looks black.
Come on now, make it plain.
Let's feed them Big Macs. Right? Had it been Alabama, in my opinion,
you think he would have fed them better?
I think he would have fed them better.
Oh.
I think he would have fed them better.
I don't know.
I disagree. I believe that President Trump was showing the world that he cared for the Clemson Tigers. I believe that.
Clemson, don't you accept that?
He's sharing in fast food. He likes KFC himself. So he patronizes.
I can't.
Restaurants.
I can't.
So let's not look at our president, one that we should hold in high esteem. Let's not look down upon him because he fed Big Macs and pizza. These are commonplace in our home. Many of us,
No.
Big Macs. Many of us will stop and pick up a pizza.
Pastor,
Negative.
yes, we're going to stop you
Negative.
right there.
Brothers and sisters, please do not cloud this interview. With your
Negative.
First of all,
But we have a comment
Come on,
from the Facebook audience.
Yes,
So
what y'all
Renee
got to-
says a small local business would have loved the opportunity
come
to
on
serve
now.
them.
Say that,
He's
Nene.
trash, and he served them trash.
We talking about, wait a minute. Then he said he served it because
Jackson Moten, speak that, Jackson Moten.
the government is on shutdown right now, so no one's here to cook. Well, who fault is that, Donald?
Yeah. Trump.
Again,
I would ask how many Big Macs has he eaten in the past week if nobody's there to cook.
That's true.
Okay.
He's still eating good.
Not to come off topic, but he said the people who are not getting paid, they could just go to their local grocery stores and work it out. Okay, this is not when my grandmother was going to the mom and pop grocery store where you could get a tab, man. Kroger ain't accepting that.
Right. Latane Bruce says President Trump is out of touch.
Absolutely. He don't even know how to govern.
He said that people could go to the grocery store, the same thing you just said, and they would go along with them. I think he was thinking of high school athletes, not college athletes, when he fed them the fast food.
My nephew don't even like McDonald's.
But, I mean, you compare it to your nephew, you may not choose to feed him fast food, but we have to understand that this is a staple in America. Now, Big Macs, excuse me. I mean, on the golden arches, when we see it, it says over 1 billion hamburgers. Now, are we displacing our mind when we think that this is not appropriate? Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. Ma'am, excuse me. Let me finish my statement. When you go
home tonight, you make sure you get him a Big Mac, filet of fish.
Excuse me. It's important. I'm just going to say it's important to honor leadership. And I am an advocate for the president as he is trying to build relationship with the American people. And I only think that it's right that as he conducts himself accordingly, in the manner and the nature he knows how, that we respect him, even with,
look at my face.
The government being shut down. That was for a reason.
I got one for you.
And we need to really appreciate our president. We voted him in.
Oh, no, I didn't.
No, we did not. And
before you hit it,
he's a real estate mogul, and he brought hamburgers from a real estate business. McDonald's is in the business of real estate, not hamburgers.
Okay, first of all, before you hit yours, have you ever had a cold French fry from McDonald's? Have you ever had anything cold from McDonald's? It is not the business. And that stuff was set up and sitting there. Yeah. It wasn't under the light. Yeah. So that ish was terrible when those babies got it. And when they got home, they had gas, they was constipated, they had diarrhea.
If you go back and look at the video, I'm sorry to cut you off, host, but if you look at the video that was played, you would see the steam coming off the food. I don't know what you're speaking about. I know that President Trump, he had it warm.
Stop.
He had it warm for the people because he's a warm president.
Bump him.
You was my favorite dude till we had this topic.
You know what?
This is what
I'm gonna love you in 2 minutes.
Lance is being the devil.
He's being the devil's advocate.
Not on the panel.
He's being silly.
Yeah. Excuse me. We all know etiquette, and we all know that there's a protocol. And when I'm speaking, you should listen. I'm not
the pastor.
I am not E.F. Hutton, but I expect you to listen because the president
pastor has jokes.
Whom
yes, sir.
Is the leader
and
of
his
our
face is like he really believe in what he's saying. You got anything to say before I go to this next topic? Because this next topic gonna blow your mind.
Why would you cut off the topic of the president?
Because we're done with him.
Okay, thank you.
You got something to say, player?
I'm good.
All right. So our next topic, Tiger Woods forced by the courts to take paternity tests for 137 women. Now, it's getting good. It's getting good. So, I love you, Tiger. And other Facebook news, this article about our favorite ambient sex machine. I'm sorry, y'all.
Ambien?
You know he used to take Ambien before he had sex with the chicks. So I call him our Ambien sex machine.
And who are you speaking about?
Tiger Woods.
Can you hear me now?
What?
Can you hear me now?
Tiger Woods was ordered.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. Audience, can you hear me now?
They hear you just fine.
Come in.
Tiger Woods was ordered to take 137 paternity tests. One of the ladies, Molly Sanders, has an 8-year-old son and has been fighting most of his life for Woods to be a part of the child's life. The courts has given Mr. Woods 30 days to undergo a DNA test, and he is willing, or he will face imprisonment and severe fines. He says that he will comply. So what's your take on that?
But I mean, we're talking about Tiger Woods, the golfer. Tiger.
Tiger.
And if you saw the ladies that he have to take this paternity
I'm not
test for-
believing this. I'm not believing
Well,
this.
do your research when you get. I'm just reporting the news.
Woods.
I'm just reporting the news, Nelly Bell. Tiger Woods.
Take the test, put it to rest. Take the test, put it to
Yeah,
rest.
that's the best thing you can
Especially after seeing, some of those who came forward and said, Tiger is my
Yeah.
baby daddy.
Yeah.
Not that it's not out of his.
Yeah.
Regardless of what his stature is,
Yeah.
he can go anywhere with that, right?
Yeah.
But, if it-
Yeah.
Just put it to rest. Just put it to rest. It's simple. Take one test, submit one blood sample, one DNA sample.
Hair, strand, whatever it is.
That's what
But
it
she
is.
said 137
37.
women. That's not going to be one test.
First of all,
Okay.
He get that first test, everybody's lined up for a test. Everybody wants a test.
I mean, I think that this topic here is, I'm unclear with it. So can we move on to the next one?
first of all,
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
137 unprotected sexual partners spells hip and dip and flitting item is North Dakota. That means you liable to have one ball, your special man is leaking, and you liable to, be limping in about 5 minutes. Do better, be better. You're a father. You have kids. You can't put your life at risk like that.
Excuse me.
Joker
Could
Let's
you,
talk about the big picture.
excuse me.
That
Could you
joker
expand
said your
on
special
leaking?
man is leaking.
Yes, I'm very unclear
I
about
had
that.
not heard that one before.
I went to an
Facebook
institution of
fan.
higher learning, and I did not get that
Write
correspondence.
that down. Your special
From
man
either of my
is
professors.
leaking.
Yeah,
Leaking.
leaking.
Can you expound on that, please?
You have a little leakages with probably some irritation. And
Ba-doom,
it's liable to strip.
boom,
Everybody need a
boom,
kickstand
boom.
now.
Excuse me, we're still unclear. Testing 1, 2. Did you hear me?
I just, man, Tiger, come on.
3 days
137?
later,
Go see the doctor.
I'm with Dre.
Boom, boom,
Take the
boom.
test and put it to rest. But
Yes,
I think you're
sir.
going to have to take 137 of those tests. That's a lot of tests.
137? Okay,
Do
that's
they all have
Shut that
children,
down.
or maybe not? Maybe I'm just assuming that
if paternity means child.
all of them have children. Yeah, that's a lot.
So you're telling me that Tiger Woods has 137 children?
Look, the only one I read about, it said he had to take 137 paternity tests, but Molly stood up. She got an 8-year-old.
Excuse me, can I ask you where your
No.
source? Where did you get this
What are we
information from?
discussing? Facebook News.
Oh.
The
I
8-year-old,
said sometimes it's live.
The 8-year-old
sometimes it's
is not
Memorex.
Tigers. Had the 8-year-old been Tigers,
Oh, no.
Molly would have been with her lawyer in Tiger's face
She
years,
is right now.
years ago.
They say she's been fighting them for 8 years. And Tiger got that coin.
What coin? Bitcoin?
What coin? Not bit.
But he evidently he didn't give her enough coin to sit her down and shut her up. So
There you go.
That joker said Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, not bit. So let's go to our next topic. Crazy Lance.
We're just trying to help out best way I can.
I read this obituary, right? I didn't write the lady's name down, but the lady was married years ago to her husband, and then ended up having an affair with his brother. There you go. Here she having an affair with his brother,
I'm familiar with this.
and had 2 kids by his brother, and left him and moved with the brother. So when she died,
Was this a stepbrother?
No. This was
his
same mama, same
brother-in-law.
daddy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when she died, the kids was like, now she can get her. What did the kids say? Now she'll face judgment, and she won't be missed.
Yeah. They put that in the
In
obituary.
the
paper.
obituary.
In the paper. They put it in there.
Shall we pray? At this moment, I think that we should pray for those that are going through situations. It's time to get your lives in order, so
Amen.
you won't have to be referenced this way in this manner. So we thank the Lord for you today, and please get your business in order so these topics will not be in the atmosphere. Thank you.
What y'all think about that?
I don't. I
What
think that
the people got to say, Delana?
Okay.
We got questions or comments?
All right. We need you guys sending in your comments and your questions, please. And we're clear that it is a comedy hour with Pastor Lance Gibbs.
no.
sitting
What
next to me.
I really believe this is life, and if we look at it for what it is, there are some things that take place, such as this, and it's sad to mention in the death and the departure that someone's story is told in this magnitude. But what we can do is we can live our lives right. You can find Christ Jesus, and I'm serious on that.
I know he's serious on that
All you have to do
part.
is confess the Lord with your mouth and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, and you shall be saved.
And if you believe that, you will be saved, but also believe if you have one, you can't have the brother. You just can't. It just ain't right.
Yes, ma'am. I know a lot of people
Lance,
make mistakes.
her children didn't forgive her.
Never.
And they made it clear in the
So-
In the
obituary.
obituary.
But I think that we should not talk about it. We should hope that she was forgiven for what happened.
Co-host.
Miss Rhonda said they can't focus with Lance. They
They
got
Reverend Gas, you have a lot of brothers. What would you do in this scenario?
Brother,
Word. All right.
You have a-
Yeah.
you have a
Bam.
number.
Want to
If-
do it. Look
How
at
would you
Jesus
ha-
working
if
in
it-
the
How would you
midst.
handle this?
if
So
it-
the li- no,
if I discovered that I was in a situation as such, I would have to accept it because I had nothing to do with it.
Remember the laugh.
I had nothing to do with it. And
I was about to end the show because he
choices
lied. I know
of
Lance.
people,
he don't have to worry about that, Dre.
You need some more lemonade.
the choices of people are very important in their lives,
Pastor Guest
but they also
is a
affect
peaceful
others.
man. But
And
I firmly
therefore-
believe he would choke about 3 minutes worth of air out of Sister Guest's throat if he found out
And then get to his
she had
brother.
had 2 children with one of his brothers. I
sir.
appreciate
They made a choice,
I
sir.
appreciate his temperance and demeanor, but I firmly believe there would be fingerprints on the neck of Sister Guest.
No, sir. Sir, again, that would be a choice that they made, sir.
He doesn't have to worry about that.
Sir, there would be a choice that they made. Again,
I love
we
the way
cannot.
he really
we
does
cannot.
the devil's
excuse
advocate.
me. Excuse me. I'm speaking again. Hello, can you hear me? I am truly serious about that.
I love
People make choices.
You
and
show
one
right
of the
now, that
greatest
there is
things
true.
in life is we cannot accept the choices that others make.
Renee
There's no
said,
perfection.
Who said what?
Excuse me. I'm
Renee
speaking.
Jackson Moulton said, whatever, Rev, you would choke the hell out of Delana.
Ma'am, I would not do such a thing, and I appreciate your comment, but it's inaccurate. Again, people make mistakes. People make choices, and we must live with those things that happen in life.
Well, this man made a choice on our next topic. How about that?
Greg Jones said the pastor's drink is strong.
It's lemonade, Hoopy. It's lemonade.
So look, check
He
this
has
out.
too much pulp in his lemonade. I'm telling you
This
right now.
generation of children, they do not use their brains. So check this out. Man accidentally leaves 2 pounds of marijuana in the Uber. Okay. If you accident, and this 2 pounds, and this is what he does. 21-year-old Malik from Pennsylvania.
Wow.
It has to be the dumbest nickel I know. He leaves the weed in the Uber. When he realizes, he calls to get it back, but the cops meet him. What is? First of all, son, you had the bag was like this.
Common sense isn't
You was
common.
too high that you couldn't
No,
remember your weed.
He was about his business.
Common sense isn't common.
no.
But he was about his business.
If he was
forgot.
about his business, it wouldn't have been left. You don't leave. His business is marijuana, and you don't leave your business in the Uber.
But they said it does affect the brain cells.
Don't get high
On your own supply.
You know,
2 pounds. He should have left the Uber driver a hella tip
Oh, he did, but
and make the phone call directly to the Uber
Uber
driver.
driver.
Yeah, don't put it in the Uber request system.
first of
Call
all,
the
if
Uber
you
driver.
got 2 pounds of weed, you supposed to have it on your back, like in a backpack. And
And
it
it-
should never
and
leave
it-
your person.
Excuse
And
me.
then if you forget your weed in the Pennsylvania, it's not legal, so you should have just chalked that up to the game.
But excuse me, may I
And
ask you
that was
something?
more
What does
than
that
the
look
legal
like?
amount for those
I'm
states
unfamiliar
that
with
we
that
know.
2 pounds. What does that look like?
The bag was like this, Lance.
Wow, I didn't see that, but okay, thank you for that demonstration. Wow, that's a lot.
Common sense is not common.
common sense is not common.
Oh, Latane Bruce said we've reported on fake news today. She said that the Tiger Woods story is fake, and she sent us a link to the hoax alert.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
But
I couldn't believe that Tiger had
I did start it
137
off
children.
saying that the Facebook news sometimes is live,
And
sometimes it's
not.
Memorex.
Yeah.
So we're just entertaining you with some of the things that come across our feed.
But can we say this? If Tiger Woods had 137 children, could you imagine the family reunion? My God, look at
No,
that.
hate him.
could you imagine the golf clinics that he could put on?
Could you
Just with his
imagine the
children.
burning?
That joke said, "Could we imagine the family reunion
That's,
with a serious face?" Stop.
that's
Stop.
The burning.
Lance, I'm gonna leave you at home next time.
Yes.
Thank you, Lance, for showing up in Blue's Place. Blue, we miss
He's
you,
got
but
jokes.
Lance is holding it down. So we got Hanif Johnson, 27, is the youngest judge in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. Saw
This
that
young
story.
man is familiar with being on the wrong side of the law. I lost my thing. Wrong side of the law. He had been to jail at least 3 times, and as a student in Pennsylvania University, the president of Omega Psi Phi was hazing and went to jail for that. He spent 3 weeks in jail, but was found not guilty. Now, he turned his life around, and now he has been elected the youngest judge in Pennsylvania, who beat out Claude Phipps by 73%. Kudos to you, bruh. That just shows no matter what your situation
The
is,
bros.
you can turn your thing around.
Perseverance.
What y'all got?
I just believe that's
Eyes
a great
front,
story
Head high to the finish.
for such a young man to turn his life around and become a judge. We need that, and we need African Americans to understand there's nothing wrong with the turns you make in life, but go in the right direction. Learn from your choices. We're not going to call them mistakes because we all make choices.
Oh,
but
sometimes it's a
the
mistake.
greatest,
Some of the niggas I
many
dated was
things
mistakes.
that we do, we call it a mistake, but it's actually a choice. If
My
we
marriage was a
engage
mistake.
mentally with that, we have to own up to the fact that we desire to delve into that.
It's growing
situation.
pains, but it can be a mistake. Sometimes Jesus be like, "Don't do that, player."
I just appreciate the bros embracing the fact that Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated is a non-hazing fraternity, and he turned his life around and went and got the bench and stopped putting his hands on people, because that's not what we do. And thank you, bro. And I give you all kudos in your journey moving forward.
Well, he said that he was proud to run for judge because now he could sit in the seat that he had to look at over time as a young kid getting in trouble. He can now be the judge that other kids would have to face, and he could give them a way out.
Save the children.
Right.
And
Save the children.
and next week, I'm gonna have 2 reform people who were in trouble as kids who turned their life around, and that's gonna be powerful. So y'all tune into that. What you got to say, Dean?
I was just going to say he could be a voice of reason from
Yes.
the bench because I don't think a lot of judges share our experience
Right.
and understand some of the struggles that our community faces and that our children face. So
Especially when they're the complexion for the protection.
kudos to him and kudos to the 19 female African-American judges
Woo!
here in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Black girl magic
And
at its best. So
and
we're
I wanted to
excited
just-
Do
Yeah.
that,
about
Ramona
this cycle.
Franklin,
Excuse me, I wanted to share also
church member.
that when you look at this story, you can always consider Saul, who was turned over to Paul, because
You right,
it
you
was
right.
a road to Damascus experience. And
When he got knocked off that
some
horse.
Some of these experiences, and
It was
if you
blinded.
understand,
I
yes.
know it too. Come on now.
Yeah, so that's important. We always must understand that no matter what choices we make in life, again, that we can always recover from them and then be a voice to others that will not have to go through down that road. So I thank the host for having us on today. I'm encouraged through this media outlet.
We got
I just want to give you a couple of
comments.
that we
Thank
have
you.
here. So Miss Rhonda says Lance is correct. Life is a series of good and bad choices. But Hoopy says, did R. Kelly make mistakes or choices? Hashtag I'm just saying.
He made choices.
He made choices, and we're gonna
He
talk.
made mistakes in his choices.
Oh,
Boom.
I want to talk. Y'all want to hit on that? Because I want to.
He made mistakes.
Okay, because
yes.
Here's the issue I have with the R. Kelly situation. That monster was created because if that had been nipped in the bud doing the Aaliyah stuff, I don't think he would have even got to the point of the porn. Sleeping with the underage girls and videotaping. But when he was found not guilty on that, he felt like he could get away with anything. And the more he did and the more he got away with, the more he thought that he could do. And they talk about, well, the little girls knew what they was doing. Just look at it like this. He started with 14-year-olds.
Children. That's a child.
Kids. You know, and he's 30 at that time. And you 17. I remember when I first got into the hair game, I was 17 years old. And when I moved out my mom's house, I was 19 years old. And the law said I was grown, but I was green. And if I would have came across a man with way more experience than me, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the one girl who was in the episode, she said, well, yeah, he asked me, you think you could fly out to Chicago? She's 17 years old. You think your mom would be cool with it? She said, yeah. She said, do you think I was going to ask my mama? It was R. Kelly. So these girls they have not yet made it to that place. And the problem I have is that people are like, I'm still going to listen to his music. And it's women who are saying this, women who are supporting him, and women who have daughters. Mm-hmm. Have you ever been violated? Because, see, I've been violated before. So, and you don't, who's going to help me? That's a whole nother topic. But you have daughters. Okay, if no shade, I'm just saying, hashtag that. If it would have been a white girl that he peed in her mouth, he'd still be in jail.
Now, we know that to be correct.
He'd still be locked up.
But
why are our girls of less importance? Come on.
Well, somebody says because the parents are getting paid.
Yes.
So for the ones that it was swept under the rug, we had settlements going on.
Absolutely.
And then Latane says that the parents play a part in this also.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely.
we saw one young lady.
Let me speak from this perspective. We're talking about R. Kelly. We're talking about his wrongdoing or his alleged accusations of wrongdoing. But let's talk about that tape that surfaced in all African American communities around America.
Yes, indeed.
So if you kind of look at that, was that strategical, or was someone just making a copy of the tape of the tape of the tape? It's almost, if you look at it as when drugs were poured into our community.
Come on now.
Okay? So there's a bigger entity than what we're saying. I know that an individual may have done something that was wrong in the eyes of the people, but what is pushing the agenda is what we must really consider. I'm not saying that he's innocent or guilty. I'm not even want to touch the topic, but I want us to be encouraged to know that there's a bigger entity than what we're speaking about, because we're speaking about African Americans. And again, we are tearing ourselves down without realizing that the video, the massive production of the videotapes that were in the African American communities around the world, around the 50 states, we have to look at that and we have to declare, where's the raging war? Is it with the African Americans? Is it in the homes? Is it the black parents? Where is it? It's really a bigger agenda than what we think, and we need to be.
Dre, because then I'll touch on something else.
But as a father of 4 daughters, I'll tell you this: there's a supreme responsibility in parenthood. A supreme responsibility in parenthood. There are souls and lives and individuals that you have to put before yourself. Their best interest before yourself.
Absolutely.
And and I could demolish R. Kelly all day, but I look back at the number of children that were affected by R. Kelly and the parents that were in those homes, in those lives, allowing this to happen. You know, we can point fingers at R. Kelly all day. That's the easy part because it's visible. We can
what about the people
and YouTube anything. But what about the individuals that were responsible and accountable for those daughters, for those girls?
Let's Let's go down the list.
Where do we start to
come on now?
Where do we start to point fingers and hold accountable for those individuals? Because I feel as if, as a father of 4 daughters, I feel as if my daughters will not have R. Kelly peeing on them. Why? Because of the influence and presence I've had in their lives since God gifted them to me, right? So what am I saying? Every parent, whether it's chosen or not chosen, when you bring life into this world, you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility.
Not only that, what about, okay, R. Kelly can't read or write. He doesn't read well. He ain't booking no flights. He not booking hotel rooms. His camp is doing all these things. The camp got the fake license for Aaliyah for a check. You mean you're willing to sweep under the rug to continue to get paid? God don't like ugly, and he ain't too crazy about the pretty.
Even outside of that, so
the dominoes will fall.
I appreciate the parenting piece, because that is that should reign supreme. But what about the young lady that's still involved with R. Kelly? Her parents have been trying to get at her, but this was the thing. Her parents knew of the stories, and her parents allowed her because they thought he was going to help her. That's the pull, the career. Everybody wanted to be in music, or they were the super fan. He wasn't
supposed to be involved with. He was just supposed to do the music.
This is what her parents did. She can't travel unless one of us is with her. So it was either the mother, the father. She had an older brother and an older sister. The older sister ended up being threatened, her life and the lives of the family members, and sent away when she started to see some things that were not right.
You prostituted
that
your daughter,
daughter is still, supposedly, she's one of the young ladies still living with him. Police have gone. Evidently, she tells the police, I'm here because I want to be here. There's no problem or whatever. But her parents are still fighting to get at her. So what do we do in a situation like that, where it seems like the family had a presence in her life, but that pull was still stronger on his
But I still have an issue with it, because you know his history. You take your daughter to the concert. You let R. Kelly pull her on stage. Well, I'm there. What?
As a father or a mother, you know the pedigree of R. Kelly. Why are you allowing another daughter to be the guardian for a daughter in the presence of R. Kelly? There is no.
Man, I don't get it.
There is no excuse for that. What I will say is, it goes in. We look at R. Kelly because it's hot and heavy right now. We're talking Facebook news.
Correct.
But what about the people who are
when you talk about the talent of our children, as black children, they are so exponentially talented, right?
You're right.
And so many times, whether it be athletics or the literals, whatever it is, when our children are talented, so many times parents ride on the laurels of their children's talents, and forget about the responsibility of parenting. I can say that in the presence of Delana and Lance, because they have a son.
There you go.
They have a son that is an outstanding football player at the University of Nebraska, right? So many times in our black communities, we say, my son can run fast, jump high, shoot a three-pointer, slam dunk a basketball.
But that baby is smart.
Do all that, the responsibilities he has as a child, as an individual, as a black man, black woman, young black man, young black woman in the community, I'm going to supersede all that because I want to get all that I can get out of his talents.
Come on now.
Right? And when that happens, what can happen is your daughter can get peed on by R. Kelly. So your son, daughter can be manipulated by some coach in some scenario at some college or high school or AAU situation. Again, it goes back to being a parent is a responsibility, and there's a certain accountability for what's best for your child. not for you as the parent.
Okay, so
Preach.
let me say this real quick. As I've listened to the comments and I think about where we are again, what we find out is there's been a psychological hijacking. And that's what happens in our society with the things that are going on. We get psychologically hijacked, and therefore we don't meet the requirement of our responsibility. I think that we all need to take time out and really think about the mind that God has given us. You know, as we've all talked about, it makes sense. Things have happened, but as a community of people, we cannot be psychologically hijacked.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. We are blindsided by what we call propaganda. And propaganda is one of the oldest ways to divert someone off task so that we can push our agenda. And I think if we're mindful of that, and God has given us all the capability to think, act, and move forward. So we just need to use what God has given us. I understand the topics, but I think one of the greatest things is sitting in the seat of a man of God and being a minister and so forth in leadership with people. We must not be psychologically hijacked. And I think that we owe it to ourselves to be better in things, in the way that we look at the things that society and our community is doing.
And I also want to end R. Kelly's with this. Hurt people hurt people. And we have to remember that he was a child that was once hurt, that was molested by his sister and somebody else. And not only that, is that he is, because we are children of God, we need to pray for the total situation. Because just like he's hurt those women, he's passed from, allegedly, he has passed things on to these girls that they can't take back. You know what I'm saying? It's like now their lives are changed forever. Not just the humiliation, because now they carrying around this luggage, if you know what I'm saying, vaginally, that they cannot get rid of. So we need to teach our girls first, love yourself enough that no money can influence you. No man can influence you. Teach our sons no woman can influence you. If you love thyself first and love God, then you can't be persuaded. You understand what I'm saying? So let's lighten this load up, because I'm about to shake my bun off, Lord Jesus. It's shaking.
Well, again, we're here and we have opportunity to pray. We have an opportunity to be encouraged.
We're going to do that then.
And that's all I want to keep saying, because,
absolutely,
you know, when we think about who we are and we think about the soul of man, we must remember that the mind, the emotion, and the will. The mind is what we think with. Our emotions is how we feel.
Absolutely.
And our will is what drives us.
Because I know that gets Dre worked up. He have girls.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That he loves his girls. You know, I'm telling you, there's some great fathers. I always feature great fathers, because we get a bad rap in the black community that our fathers are not involved in their kids' lives, and that's a falsehood. But let's talk about this Facebook news via video. Are you ready? Let's talk about the McDonald's showdown.
What happened at McDonald's?
Remember, the man got to the counter and he didn't get a straw, and he called himself grabbing the girl and choked him, and she beat the snot out of him. I bet he won't touch another person.
I bet he won't.
And they was talking about she had got fired for that, but then I heard that wasn't true.
I don't know if she got fired or not, but I'll tell you this.
She tore him up.
I don't know what's going on in America today that drives a customer to put his hands on an employee because of a straw, salt, black pepper, ketchup, honey mustard, barbecue sauce, or whatever. Because, you know, I'm 52 years old, and I've seen a few fast food counters in my day growing up.
Yes.
We just didn't see this in my era.
No.
We didn't.
So what is happening today to where you're standing there and you have your order and you did not receive a straw?
It wasn't like
and you say to yourself, I'm going to grab you and choke you.
He reached
because
over.
I don't have a straw. What is going on to provoke that?
He was having a bad day. It wasn't about the straw.
Oh, he had a real bad day when she was done with him.
It wasn't even about her.
Days have been bad
Something
for
else
years.
had- something
and
else happened.
decades.
Lack of discipline.
Days have been bad for years.
And it's a lack of discipline. I mean,
Yeah,
there are
man.
a lot of things.
Let me straighten up.
Let us
so I
say
can
this.
I got-
We're
put my
creatures.
shoulders back.
We're creatures of habit. And
Put my shoulder
again,
high.
because we're creatures of habit, a lot of times the
Let me
things
sip
that we
this tea,
dress
'cause
up,
I'm gonna let you have it.
with a lot of things we dress up and we, make up, and then it's still within us. And if we have not learned, remember, self-control is part of the fruit of the spirit.
No, that's
And
true.
so here we go, someone acting out in a manner, they don't have self-control. They're missing something. They're missing God in their life.
First
And it-
of all,
yes.
I'm sorry,
Go
Lance.
ahead.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I am a fabulous hairstylist. I change lives daily. But if you sit in my chair and I don't comb your hair to the right or the left the way you don't like, and you turn around and you commence to choke me, they're going to have call 9 to the 1 to the 1 because I'm going to tear that ass up. Hashtag that. That girl, she was a boxer.
Hashtag I'm just saying.
Hashtag tear that ass.
I bet
Write a
he'll
postcard to
I
your
bet
friend.
he don't even sip out of straws no more.
Miss Rhonda said he picked the wrong young lady.
He sure did.
Was he drunk?
We don't know. Now, the holiday season just passed us. Let's talk about the little boy who had to do his Christmas speech. Did you see that video?
Did not.
I missed
I don't
that.
think I
Okay,
saw that one.
so
What happened?
the little boy, they passed him the mic. He cute. He's about 7 years old. He's starched down. He got cuffs. And they passed him the mic to do his
At
Christmas
school,
speech.
at church?
At church.
At church, okay.
And he says, I'm tired of this church. And passed the mic back. I'm tired of this church.
I didn't see
and
that.
the lady in the congregation said, damn, is that your speech?
I didn't see that.
Damn, was that his speech? He was the cutest little thing, but I bet you that baby had been to church every day. I bet you he had been to every rehearsal. I bet he had been studying that speech.
Was that
for
child's
months.
last name Guess? Was that what the pastor guessed?
That baby said, I'm tired of this church. And his face was so dry. And then he walked off.
We don't have children that behave that way.
Oh my God. I was like, he was over it.
Oh, wow.
He was done.
I didn't
If you
see
get
that.
an opportunity, you go to YouTube and look at I'm tired of this church. I promise
But
you.
that presence of self at 7 is huge. I applaud his parents. I applaud his parents.
Then he walked off and was like,
That child will be a CEO one day.
I'm
day.
tired
That child
of
will be
this
a CEO
church.
one day.
He was tired. He was tired of going to church. He was tired.
He said he tired of that mess
Now,
at church.
when you
Speak your mind, baby.
anybody got something to say before we go to this next topic? Because I want to know if y'all seen this.
Go right ahead. Get involved.
He can't. Pastor can't even touch it. When you in the gym, Greg Hoopy Jones, and you're on the treadmill, you can't show out on the treadmill. You got to be focused. So, oh girl, she running fast. She getting it. Did you see it? She running so fast. Then somebody passed her by, and I guess she thought she got their attention. So when she tried to look at him,
Oh, she fell off.
she slid off that treadmill so hard and so fast.
I've seen
Then
that one.
tried to get back on the treadmill and fell again. Party people in the place to be. When you go to the gym, be ye focused. Because if you are not, you're liable to hurt yourself. It ain't about being
Ye
seen.
focused.
Be ye focused.
Be focused, Pastor Guess.
Y'all go to Mean Green.
Well, me and brother Guest, work out on the regular together. And I've yet to see brother Guest fall off the treadmill, and I presume I would never allow him to see me fall off as well. You plain and simple. You're going there for a reason.
You're going there, but
You're going
she
there for a reason.
Google it.
Get your fitness in.
So
She hit it hard.
the person that got her attention, did he turn
Get
around
yourself
and come
fighting
back
trend.
and help her get
Fighting
up?
trend.
She fell twice. She fell twice. She was discombobulated. She was discombobulated.
Well, the good thing is we've learned something, and I will not. I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to go watch that video, but what I will share with people is that it's important to maintain who you are, not to show out, not to put more weight on than you can bear.
Oh, because we
not to run as
many
fast
gym disaster
as you think you can in a stationary position.
Man,
see, there's a reason for all of this.
If you can't coordinate, get on the bike. The low one. You got to know you have to know your limitations.
And see, there are boundaries to everything in life.
Hoopy said he would have laid there till the ambulance came.
She fell hard.
And your mama said, did she get face burn?
She got something. She fell twice.
Wow.
And first of all, when she tried to get back on the treadmill, she didn't slow it down.
Right.
She tried to hop back on it at going the speed of lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Hoopy said, don't drink and cardio at the same time.
Hashtag.
It is not a winning combination.
But they say the gym is a happy hour. Maybe that's what it was. She had a
happy hour is almost over next door, and now I can go back.
Beverage that took over the edge. I don't know.
Whew. Now, our last topic, it was sad to me. The elderly lady who gets put out in the cold. Did y'all see it? It was a lady. She was about 75 years old. She was on a fixed income, and evidently she was paying her rent, but then they raised. She was supposed to be on a fix. It was supposed to be fixed, but they raised it, and she could no longer afford it. And when she came home, all of her things were outside. And she, she's older, so she didn't want to leave her things. So people in the neighborhood, they're trying to get her to come inside. She's freezing. They done wrapped her up in blankets. Because, when we get to a certain age, your way is your way. And she was like, and it was almost Christmas time.
Yeah,
and
she got somebody's vehicle. She got somebody's.
Eventually, she got. I think she got in somebody's vehicle, somebody's ambulance. But they was like, "Ma'am." They was trying to feed her. She needed her medication. She was wrapped up in blankets. And I'm like, couldn't you try to work that out? She's 75. That's somebody's mother. That's somebody's grandmother.
We're in a cold, cruel world.
What city was this?
I couldn't even. I don't know. I just know it was wrong on every level.
Well, and again, I could understand where she is because she was displaced. And when people are displaced, the first thing they think about is what all they have, the little things they have, but what's remaining.
Yeah.
And it's important, again, as people, that we look out for each other and we be more to others than we are to ourselves. And we're just encouraged today. We need prayer.
Man, word.
We do need prayer.
I mean, put that lady out. She's 75.
Yeah, that's not right.
Wow. Yeah.
But landlords are all about business, though. So if you can't cover your rent,
okay,
somebody else will.
That's a prime example of Scrooge during the Christmas time.
That's true.
Scrooge.
Well, Ebenezer, I didn't see no change because.
And did they try to help her find resources?
They changed
her in the location she was in.
They went up on her rent like midstream.
If you did not understand, there were no resources other than your things outside. That's the resource they provided for her, not helping her. There were some other people that helped her, and that's why we have to be engaged. I try to teach my wife that all the time. Important.
Well, what I will say
to
is
help people.
The people who kicked her out, they'll be 75 one day if they're blessed to see that.
Right.
There's not a blessing that you will see 75, but if you are blessed to see 75, what's done unto others will be done unto you. Karma is real. She is sexy. She don't come. She comes dressed up just like you like it, and then Shazam, she pulls the rug from underneath your feet. I got a mother. I have aunties. I have a sister. I got cousins, and one day we're not going to be young and vigorous. My knees tell me I'm 58, but I'm only 47.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? When I wake up in the morning, what did I do yesterday? I just slept wrong. Mm-hmm. Life catches up with you. So, man, who does that?
Be encouraged no matter what's going on.
So did somebody start a GoFundMe?
You'll make it all right.
They did.
You gotta stay strong.
They
did.
Be encouraged. Lord will.
Some resources
were
raised to. I saw a piece of that. I didn't see the front end of it, but I saw the back end of it. Yeah,
okay.
The back end of it what have you.
So her blessing may have been in the eviction.
You're absolutely right.
For the long term.
There you
See,
go. Perspective.
sometimes we
Perspective.
have to look at things a little bit differently.
Perspective.
It's uncomfortable
Yes.
at the time, but some resources were put in place that may, keep her together for the long term, and so that's what's going to be important going
because
forward.
you know what, when you're older, you get pneumonia easier.
And pneumonia will take an
You
older
get a
person
lot
out.
much
So
easier.
Absolutely.
And I'm an only child. I was raised an only child. My mother's 85.
Come on now.
And I take care of my mother. And I would tell you that if she was in a state to where she was being evicted, I would ask, where was our family support before the eviction took place?
Right.
And then I can input there was probably a lack of family support because what I've seen in the last 17 years of my mother's ailments and caring for her when she's had to go to rehab facilities or recovery facilities, whatever, there are thousands and thousands of elderly people
that are just left
out there on their own,
yeah,
with no one to care for them because the families don't step up and do what needs to be done. And this is a moment to talk about in our black communities. The Facebook story is one thing, but in our communities, we must take care of our own. We talk about taking care of the children.
We must
but
take
we
care
also
of our
talk
elders.
we also need to talk about those that took care of us when we were children.
Absolutely.
Right? Because there is a responsibility and an accountability there, and you have to stand forthwith in that because it's challenging. It's challenging because the health issues are non-yielding until God calls them home, right? And the stubbornness, when
That's
you're
what I was
talking
finna
about
hit
a
on.
baby in diapers and swaddled, the baby's gonna do how you direct them. When you're dealing with elders, they do how they've chosen to do for years. Now you have to care for them and how they choose to be, do this, that, and the third. I love my mother to death, but she's stubborn as a mule. But that will not detour me from doing what I must do as her son.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Because all that I am, she's a part of.
That's right.
She laid that foundation.
But your mother took great care of you, Dre,
Yes.
and I think all of us sitting on this panel have had parents that were loving and very caring for us. But we go back to this other family where the mother went off with the uncle and had 2 additional children. See, everybody didn't have that experience. So everybody's not wanting to take care of their elderly. So I would say we have to speak to those of us in our midlives, right? Because we have to do right by our children. So our children want to do right by us as we age. It's a cycle. And you really have to pay attention to that. But not everybody had that kind of experience with their parents, unfortunately.
And not only that, you got to think about it like this. Look at us, how we are now. We move and shake how we want to. Lance can get out there. Dre, you can get out there and mow your yard if you want to. You don't really have to call the yard man if you don't want to. And you have elderly people who've been in their homes since we were kids, right? And then they start to get to a place where they can't really care for themselves. But they're not going to tell you that, because if they feel like they're stripped from where they are, now they're losing their independence. Somebody said something?
I'm looking at Gerald. Delilah, you know Gerald James?
I don't. He just
I
said
do.
hello, so I was just saying
What's
hi.
up? What's up, G?
Look, we grew up together.
I know
At
Gerald.
Harlem Clark.
I know
And
Gerald.
our birthday the same day.
Shut the front door and lock
we
it.
exact same age in Windsor Village out of Harlem Clark. GJ, what it is?
And he
So-
was speaking to you.
That
man.
Harlem Clark loved. That Harlem
When
Clark
you're
loved, GJ.
older,
Sir, no-
and then
no
now,
signs, sir,
because
no signs.
once you move people from where they are and that they're not in their home anymore, that's how some elderly
Windsor
people
Village.
pass,
Windsor
because
Village.
they feel like, what's their worth? You understand what I'm saying? What am I here? I can't. I got to depend on you for this. I can't work like I used to. And if their mind is starting to slip, it's like they feel like less of themselves. We do need to take care of our elderly people. And, you know, if you still have your mama, I love you, and I got to do better.
But don't cripple them in the process.
Amen.
Like I give Barbara Jean homework. Keep her mind sharp. Stuff
Yeah.
that she, you know, that she can still do for herself.
Yes, sir.
So she's not totally dependent upon us. Because when that time comes, then we'll do those things. But I need her mind to stay sharp because I've seen it slip in our family with other people.
There you go.
You're absolutely right. But I'm going to touch on 2 points. Number one is I would tell you what my father told me.
Come on.
Mm-hmm.
A mother is sacred.
Mm-hmm.
A mother is sacred. Fathers, we do what we do, and we stand in the fold, and we stand strong for our families.
Yes, sir.
But the love and nurturing you get from a mother is sacred, even when she's absent or incapable of mothering.
Come on now.
Right.
She's
That was
still
good.
sacred because your presence of life on this side
Comes from her.
comes from her.
That's true.
Irregardless of the mistakes that she
She
makes,
makes.
she is still
Your
sacred.
mother.
Tupac mama was a crackhead, and he still made a song about it called Dear
Your
Mama.
mama.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me? A mother is sacred. So I say that to say, no matter what, even in the mistakes, if you
Be
hold
willing to take care
a
of
certain
your mother.
esteem for the queen that you call mother, it would set a precedence in our children, in the fabric of children for decades and generations to come.
Come on now.
Love and respect your mother first and foremost.
Foremost.
First and foremost.
Because I say the way a man
And
love his
watch
mama is how
the
he'll love you.
blessings rain upon you. But love thy mother first and foremost, no matter what the mistakes that exist.
That was
I
good.
say that because
And let me just share something as well. When we talk about our elders, one of the greatest things that we have to really articulate in our minds is that we have to learn to love. So it's learning, ever learning, even through those stages of
Ever learning.
becoming elders. You know, our mothers who did for us, now we desire to do for them. But there's pushback, there's give, there's misunderstanding, there's, you know, crying, there's feelings. But you have to understand that we all have not come to the complete love because we're always learning to love. And the experience in itself drives us to even want to know more. So as Brother Andre said, I'm truly engaged with those things. My father, when he was here, I called him my superhero. But when I saw my superhero become like an ordinary man,
Yes.
even to the point of death, I realized how life in itself will make you realize what love truly is, and that is through the learning aspect. That the ones that you hold high in high regard will eventually diminish in the flesh, but you still have to uphold
Yes,
that
sir.
sacrecy. You
Talk.
still have to uphold
Talk.
that honor. You still have to be
Talk.
strong in your will of learning
talk, man.
life.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, I will say this. As a child who has one living parent, when you're growing up, you don't look at your mother as a woman. You don't look at your mother as a human being. You look at your mother as your mother. You look at your father as your father. And when my mom released her book, Just One More Hit, through the eyes of a spouse of an addict, I realized my mother was not only a woman, but she was just a child when she got married.
Lord have mercy.
She was just a kid. And parents are human. They make mistakes.
Yeah.
They're not perfect people, and they learn as they go. And we have to stop as kids. you know, we put our parents on this pedestal, but we have to realize that they're just flesh and blood like I'm just flesh and blood. They make mistakes. They learn as they go. Your mom's going to learn as she goes. My father was an addict. So not only was he learning as he was going, he didn't even know how to love me because he couldn't love himself.
Exactly.
But he was still a man, and they love the best way that they know how. I had a great mother. You understand what I'm saying? But now that I am a woman and I have made some choices that weren't the smartest, I understand she's a woman first. She has needs just like I have needs. She makes mistakes just like I make mistakes. She's learning just like I'm learning. And as long as God gives you breath, you learn every day. You learn every day. There is no perfect parent. There is no perfect parent. Now, we're going to end it out. Anybody watch Skip and Shannon Undisputed?
I watch it on the regular.
Okay, so
Shannon gets in Skip's
No, that's
ass
ESPN.
on the
That's
regular.
sports.
yes, this is
That's
sports.
ESPN. Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp.
Okay.
Shannon Sharp.
So,
Yeah.
I was
he
watching-
Gets in Skip's ass.
I
on the
was
regular.
watching a little Skip and
Especially about-
Shannon
especially about-
Undisputed
About our issues.
with Terrell Owens, and then we're going to wrap it up because I know y'all probably
Okay.
got some place to be. So it was Terrell Owens, Shannon Sharp, and Skip, and they were debating on the Saints and Rams debacle. And Terrell Owens was like, why don't they just take it back to the play that was jacked up? They said it's in the rule book that they can replay it, but if they replay it and they vote against it, they have to replay that game. He was like, if the Rams happen to win the Super Bowl, they're not really the champs if you think about it. It was like, I got 3 football people here. Mm-hmm. Tell me your input on it. And then we're going to close it out. And Hoopy, I know you're on, so I need your input on this. Because that was, and if go to Facebook Watch and not only look up hashtag, I'm just saying with MemeMichelle, share the episodes and do watch parties, but go look at Skip and Shannon Undisputed with Terrell Owens. It is awesome. I agree with Terrell Owens 1,000%. But let's go. He was like, man, he said, if you go to the court of law, you got to follow the law in front of the judge.
Correct.
He said, this is the law.
He's saying something right there.
This is in the rule book. So why they not pulling up? Why are they not using the rules? We all know they cheating the game.
Because of the big money.
Politics
The
in the
Flake
NFL.
Gate, baby.
And the big money.
The politics
Yes.
in the NFL. It's all about the business.
It's
of
all
it.
about the
It's all
coin.
And
about
to
the
my
business of it.
understanding, the ref that let that last call, the call that would have changed the outcome of the game, I believe
That's what Terrell said.
he's from L.A. That's all I'm gonna say.
He
Found
said
out.
that.
The ref is from L.A.
But that's a
Shouldn't have been
conspiracy
calling that
theory,
game.
Delano.
No, that
Conspiracy theory.
That
That's why
comes
we
from a
have-
pretty credible source.
Okay. Facebook news.
Hashtag, I'm just saying.
Hashtag, I don't know. Hashtag, I want to know. Hashtag, I'm your friend.
Hashtag the Saints got
Hashtag
robbed.
HELL.
Hashtag you got to go home with her.
Hashtag, we'll be talking all
So
the way
Facebook,
home.
what y'all think? What they got to say, D?
Okay,
And what y'all got to
so-
say? What you got to say about
Koopy said yes, the call was missed, but other calls were missed as well that affected the outcome of the game. Now I did hear that because I didn't watch the entire game.
Yeah.
But I heard it was a bad calling game all around. So Gerald says they will not do it due to the fact that the Super Bowl is already set and
Yep.
too much money to lose.
Absolutely.
Well, calls are missed. Calls are missed, especially
every
holding calls. Calls are missed every game, every Sunday, all season long. Calls are missed. That's going to happen because in all that we do in our professional lives, whatever we do, all the 4 of us individually, we miss things in what we do professionally.
He said that's why they got the replay.
However,
Come on now, comma, semicolon.
that shit was so obvious.
It was.
That was so obvious to where it's like
Stevie
what's
Wonder
really-
saw that play.
And he
What's
said
really
that.
Stevie Wonder
going
saw
on?
that.
Terrell
You know,
Owens said
and,
Stevie
you know,
Wonder saw it, Ray Charles
I'm
saw
pro
it,
Texas.
everybody
I'm a
blind
Texas
saw
fan,
it.
but I'm from Lake Charles, so I got love for the Saints too, and I hate the Saints. Got cheated out of that thing, because I'm not a Who Dat fan, but I love the Who Dats. Take that with what you will.
All right.
However, but that shit. If you can replay and say, oh, it was a catch.
Yeah.
Or it wasn't a catch. Or it was a fumble. Or it wasn't a fumble.
It was
or his
face
knee
mask.
was down. His elbow was down. His forearm was down. If you can replay all that, when you replay that shit and saw it, say, wait a minute, I got this flag in my pocket that I didn't chunk. But we got to chunk it now because of that.
Terrell Owens said that the other ref was coming to throw the flag, and the ref who made the call said, don't you do that. And they were like, huh? So, oh, yeah, I saw that.
Well, there is a hierarchy of the refs on the field.
Yeah.
So there is.
You got the ref. You got the ref. You got your lead ref.
You got your lead ref.
And you got line judge. And
you got your line judges.
And then the main ref is the one that wears the white cap, right? That's the white cap guy. That's the main ref. That's the one that when a call is made, he the one with the microphone, doing all the antics. You know, everybody coming together with the black hats, whatever. You know.
So, that was terrible.
It was.
Is there going to be anyone watching the Super Bowl? That's what we need to know. I
just want to know where the Super Bowl party at.
Super Bowl party will be in Mo City with the Theta Chi chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. It's going to be the outest Super Bowl party in the city of Houston.
Missouri City Civic Center.
Missouri
I'm
City
gonna have
Civic
to make
Center.
that.
Be there. We have tickets.
And
in
I'll
fact,
be there.
inbox.
Being a young black single
Andre
female.
Caesar, a Lance Guest, all day Q Dogs, twice a day, and 3 times tomorrow.
And it's unwise to consider us
get
otherwise.
Your tickets. The party's gonna be out because that's what the Qs do.
So if you need a place,
be out
here in Houston, Texas. We're gonna be in Missouri City, the Civic Center,
Missouri City,
and we are going to have.
That's my fraternity, brother.
The biggest Super Bowl party ever. We do it every
Missouri
year.
City.
It's usually standing room only.
Oh my gosh.
But we want you to come out and have a good time with the brothers of Omega Psi Phi.
Or buy a table. Buy a
Incorporated.
table. We got tables for $250, 10 top tables. We have 7 whole tables left and individual tickets for $25. That includes food and beverage.
Well, I will be there, and I will get with one of you
Come hang
guys
with the bros.
to get my ticket.
Rue.
And excuse me,
oh my goodness,
Ms. MemeMichelle, if you don't mind,
Yes.
we would like to post that flyer on your page.
Well, absolutely, on all my digital outlets.
Yes, so that your
I've
constituents
reposted
and
it already, but I
listeners
will
will
do it
have an
again.
opportunity to partake with us next week.
Absolutely, and it is done. It shall be done.
Thank you so much.
we're looking forward to our guests coming out and celebrating with us for the Super Bowl
and
party.
that's next Sunday, right?
We have 2 tables, but Pastor Guest and I met at the Super Bowl party.
Yes,
10
they
years
did.
ago.
February 1st, 2009.
It's
so
a 10-year anniversary.
This is a rite of passage.
Come out and
for
party
us.
with
Maybe
us.
I'll meet me somebody and can tell my
10
story.
years ago at the
Poopy, I
Super
said
Bowl
it,
party.
yes.
Theta Chi Q.
So thank you guys.
They did not.
I know you're
just do
deaf.
that.
Thank you guys. We had an amazing show. Leave your comments. And if you have a topic that you want to talk about, please post it on my page. My hashtag, I'm just saying, group page is not working well. So I'm gonna work on that. But
peace and happiness.
Tune in next week where we have a Road to Redemption. That's the topic for next week. And then the week after that is the 1-year anniversary for hashtag I'm just
Fall
saying.
17.
It's the Valentine's Day
Them
episode. And just remember to laugh.
What team? 17.
Remember to love.
17 Sons of Redemption.
Remember to be the light.
Rue.
and always bear good fruit. This is hashtag I'm just saying. 2 fingers. God bless you. Mwah.
Hashtag I'm just saying.